And we're back. Technical difficulties all the way around. But that's showbiz, baby. The show must go on. But this is going to be the charm. I can tell. And it also was better that it started this way anyways, because I am screen recording all of these to load on my YouTube channel later. But if it goes over an hour, it's a really big file, and it kind of makes it difficult to upload and then upload to my YouTube. So it's better off this way.
We're giving you what you want.
But anyways, but while we're waiting for Dan's handbag, I know, trust me, I feel really embarrassed. I hope that he understands the difficulties of show business. But for those of you just joining us for the fourth episode, he's back. The production quality could be better, yeah. But you know what? We're quarantined. Saturday Night Live's been doing it. We're doing it. All right, and now, let's see.
First off, the production quality is off the charts. Anyone that says anything different has no clue what's going on. What's going on? Is this better?
Best production quality of any Instagram live ever. Oh, Dan, thanks for bearing with us on that.
No, it's my fault. So let me alleviate any embarrassment and pressure. It's on me. So I should have just put on my headphones. That would have solved everything.
True. Spoken like a true Big Brother game player.
But let me tell you this. I also don't do a lot of these, but now I'll know to put these in. So and for the future, be like, hey, if you have audio issues, just tell people to wear their headphones.
That's true. Okay, so see, everything happens for a reason.
There you go.
Don't worry, people. We're back. I think people probably didn't believe that I actually had like the greatest Big Brother player of all time on.
Who, me? You're talking about me?
So I looked like a liar for the past like 15 minutes, but it's fine.
She has been nervous about this for like 2 days straight.
Please make me. Don't listen to him. Please.
I'm here to keep it real, guys.
Dan, it is an absolute honor to have you on.
Well,
and I am very nervous. So.
No, number one, don't be nervous. Like literally, like I'm super excited to be here. And I want to tell you this because I really don't do a lot of like Big Brother related stuff anymore. Not because I don't like it or love it, but like I did this really intensive interview with Taryn and it went really well. And I'm like, okay, this is good. Like I've said everything I've had to say. And I'll comment on like a current season, but I don't like, there's no reason to rehash something that happened 100 years ago. However, what I thought was cool with you is like, one, this is a time where like people need something like fun and funny and positive to watch. I thought that was a really cool concept. And then I asked someone to vouch for you. They vouched for you. I'll tell you privately.
Was it Janelle?
No, I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you privately because I don't know. Like I don't know you.
I know we don't.
I like the idea of what you're doing. I'm like, that's cool. Let's do it. So thanks for having me.
Thanks. I wonder who this mystery voucher is because I don't know. We'll see. But
I'll tell you after.
Good. Well, that makes me. I'm glad that people like me. Okay, because you never know once you go in the Big Brother house. I mean, you're used to people being nice to your face, and then they turn around and they're like, "Let's evict her." So
the good thing is I'm like the inverse of that in real life. You know, like just completely.
Production quality. I don't know.
Well, I'll fix it. Keep going.
So like I'm completely different in real life, and I just I appreciate getting a chance to meet people and talk with people, and it's cool.
Well, thanks for meeting and talking with us.
Yeah, of course.
Something that I am super curious about because this isn't Big Brother related, but this is something that you really have dove into and made it your current
real quick
thing.
I want to cut you off too. Like ask me anything like big, whatever you want to talk about, I'm cool with. Like I don't like
some
not
people have
talk
a list
about
and they're
Big
like
Brother.
Don't bring this up, and I'm like
no I'm an open
list.
book. No.
But okay, but you'd love to talk about this, I'm sure. Twitch,
yeah, that's
like a new thing. You've really killed it and made it your own thing. My mom was telling me all about it. Like people watch you play video games and it's kind of like the Big Brother live feeds, but you're playing video games.
You nailed it. It's like it's very, if you like watching the live feeds and watch people just kind of messing around, that's kind of what I've done, but I've been doing it for 8 years. So now like Twitch is now in the forefront of, pop culture, kind of. It's like kind of accepted. Where like when I started it, people like, this is weird. What is this? But now it's like I've been doing it for so long. and it's just continuing to grow. And it's kind of like, I think what you focus on here, what I do on my show is I focus on creating clean, positive entertainment, meaning that, you know, and there's no judgment, but you may turn on Twitch and you'll see like people raging or throwing controllers. I just like make it a really fun, positive show. So like you're distracted or entertained from all this stuff going on. And that's been my focus for day one. And the reason I kind of frame things that way, because it's a little bit inverse in like gaming culture, is because I know one day, so I have like 2 little sons, they're going to watch everything you do. Like your grandkids are going to see. So you better be proud of what you put out there and be okay with them saying like, hey, you did this. And I'm
I shouldn't have said bitch so much.
But I mean, you know, but at the same time, so that's another reason why I do what I do. So yeah, so it's been great. And so I do that Monday through Friday on twitch.tv/Dan Gheesling at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Actually, I have the link here because I wanted to so people can follow you.
I appreciate that.
Of course.
It's actually like such a huge industry.
It's humongous.
The company I work for puts on like TwitchCon and all that stuff. And it's,
oh, really?
Yeah, and it's massive.
I'll tell you what, it's like, especially now with like, it's going to be a seismic shift in entertainment. We're already seeing that. It's like the middle people are getting cut out, and it's like someone wants to watch Cat go live. They don't have to go through some third party. It's like, you like Cat, you can watch Cat whenever you want. And it's really it's an exciting time, and there's a lot of opportunities.
So I guess something that I want to know.
Yeah.
Because I guess the whole live feed thing, because, you know, Twitch's live feed, Big Brother's live feed, how did that change your life, having people watch you on the live feeds back then, and I guess even now? Yeah.
I'd say back in the day, so the first time I played, I taught. I was a teacher. So I knew that like students would be watching. So for me, I always kind of veered towards like not doing anything that I couldn't explain to my students. So
that's
it really
I don't think a lot of people on my season thought about. I'm not sure if they did.
But that's the thing, and it's like no judgment. Like people, I think it makes for more entertaining when people aren't as reserved or cautious. But it's more of just like, I don't know. I just kind of, I never really worried too much about what people would think, because I never put out anything there that I was like, you know, I shouldn't have said that or shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you think that, because I don't know if you keep up with Reddit, but I do.
Yeah.
And
no, I've seen you on there. I've seen you post on there. Which by the way, I like what you're doing, right? So like, it's not just, hey, come watch my live feed. I see you engaging with people. Like I'll lurk that subreddit a little bit, and I'll see like, hey, like this is not how I am, and you'll like type your response out. So like people think I'm not like, just because I don't talk about Big Brother, I keep an eye on what people are doing. And but it's not like, hey, you're like, hey, watch my stuff and then walk away. Like you engage with people, and I think it's because you care. I don't want to put words in your mouth. But
I'm sure you probably know this because you watched my gameplay and it probably was not good, but I was a recruit for the show. But it wasn't because I didn't want to watch Big Brother. It's just because I just don't watch TV, so I never did. Yeah. So I'm kind of like a newborn super fan. So all I want to do is talk about Big Brother because it's all new to me.
Yeah.
So I like going on Reddit and conversing, and I appreciate when people have their little rumors that happen. So I try to let them run with some things because I know that it's fun, but it's hard not to be like, you know, shut it down, but whatever. Yeah. But crazy that you lurk. What I was going to say was I saw a post the other day about James Ryan had gone on Evil Dick's show, and he was talking about how these days the reason why they don't have an all-star season is because they would have to do away with the live feeds, because the live feeds are so, I guess, intrusive, and people, like, as you saw in my season, they don't always realize that the camera's on, and they do things and say things that is reputation damaging. Do you agree with them on that?
You know, my opinion is the live feeds are what make the experience. A live feed generates a lot of money for CBS. Mm-hmm. And I think if you take away the live feeds, Big Brother, there's no differentiating factor, right? Because there's a lot of other shows that have tried to emulate what Big Brother has done. Mm-hmm. But the live feed is what allows people to connect, whether you're all in 20 hours a day or you tune in for like 30 minutes. So I disagree with that. And I think if you've played the game before, you're even more equipped the second time to know, hey, this camera's here. Like you hear the zoom. Like unless you're completely unaware both times, it's really hard to not be aware. Like the first time through, like you got to feel your way out, but the second time you're like, you get it, you know.
I will say you do forget the cameras are there, because you don't see them, and then they're not moving. Like the ones in the corners aren't moving. It's the ones behind the mirror. So I don't know. I would be that idiot that's like second time around. And I'm like, the feeds aren't on. It's fine.
Well, that's why you're probably a lot of fun to watch. But I'm the inverse. I'm always aware. Like, and I think that's the dangerous thing for me is when I'm in there, I am like, I'm like on steroids. Like I'm hyper aware of like what people are saying, everything. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know who I was talking to maybe a couple months ago, but I feel like just for whatever reason, like people are wired to do certain things. I think it was just in my DNA to play that game. Like I grew up very quiet and I still am. Like if we were to hang out, you'd be like, that's not the Dan. Like I'm just very chill, but I'm very observant. So I just feel like I'm just wired to listen more than I talk. And I think that's how you can do one way you can do very well in Big Brother.
Do you think it was hard for you to stand out in the casting process by being a very reserved, quiet person?
100%. And so that's why, and I think it's on YouTube and stuff, but my audition videos out there and it's like kind of cringy because I'm very over the top and like cocky and like I'm a little cocky in real life, but not like that. So I knew I had
cocky.
Yeah, but I knew I had to do something because like, hey, I'm Dan. I love Big Brother. I've watched, like, you're not going to watch that. Like, no one's going to be excited about that. So, but it took me 4 years to get on. So each time I got more and more comfortable on the camera. But like someone like you just seem like you're naturally gregarious and have like this bubbling personality. So someone like you, you'll show up on camera. Like someone more reserved, you don't really show up. You got to like push yourself to pop a little bit, if that makes sense.
Which is probably super hard to stand out in the casting process when it's a lot of people that are like chugging 5 Red Bulls before their interview and trying to outspeak each one of the other. But wow, that's interesting. So I know that you were saying earlier how you were, after you did Taryn's interview, you were like, come on, does anyone really want to rehash Big Brother? Well, people do, because I wrote down questions.
Let's do it. I'm 100%. Like whenever, so if someone comes in, it's been really interesting. Like when I've been streaming on Twitch, when I first started, it was like a lot of Big Brother people. And then now 8 years later, there's people that will pop in and be like, I'd never know you streamed on Twitch. I'm like, well, I've been doing it for 8 years, but when they come in, I know. Yeah. Since 2012, you know, so like December, so like 2012
was that long ago, actually.
I know. But like people will come in and they'll be like, hey, you know, and they'll ask Big Brother questions. So I don't shy away from that at all.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's a connecting point, right? Like you and I would not be connected without Big Brother. So I really embrace it and I love it. You know, I love Big Brother and like, I love watching it and it's been such a big part of my life. So to like shun it or like act like you're better than it, to me, it's just not who I am, you know?
So my first question, I love talking to people about this because I know that Big Brother for me, it absolutely enriched my life. I feel like it made me a better person. I met some of my greatest friends and made some of my best memories. How would you say that your Big Brother experience made you a better person? Or do you think it did? Or do you think it made you a worse person?
I think if you want to be like, honestly, I think it accentuated some dangerous parts of my personality, meaning that like it really, prior to that, when I first went in, like I knew I could like massage a conversation and do things, but it really like, you don't know what you can do till you get in there. But after, as like a 24-year-old, and then you won out, you win and you're like, holy cow, I did that. And then, so it's like, it definitely didn't make me a worse person, but it definitely made me aware of some tendencies that I have. And just like you, like I was thinking about the other day, it didn't fundamentally change me, but it changed me. You don't go through something like that and not change. And so I was thinking the other day, I'm like, what if I never went? What would I be doing right now?
What do you think you would be doing?
Nothing like I'm doing now. I would be teaching high school. I think that's really what I would be doing. And my life may look different. I may be married to someone else. I don't know. But it's
that's
just
crazy.
It's definitely
the trajectory that it brings you on is completely
one
different.
choice. I mean, it's a huge choice and a huge opportunity. I don't know a lot of people that would turn it down. But, and you don't know, like, I know you're fresh or out and like, you don't know what can happen, but what if you didn't go? I don't know.
I haven't even been out a year, but I already think about how different my life would have been. And even like the things that brought me there, then like, wow, if I didn't do that, then it would have never brought me here, which ultimately brought me a ton of happiness. So it's crazy how life works out.
How would you say, do you think it affected you more positively or inversely?
I think so. Same kind of thing that you noticed about yourself is you realized maybe they weren't positive things about myself, but I realized that I was quick to anger, and I obviously, you know, to function in life, in the workplace and everything, you do have to have patience with people, even if that does mean like you want to speak out so badly, but you have to, as you know, you have seen, you have to, sometimes you have to go away for a day or two and really think about what your next step is to really, to kind of change people's minds, and or to really like think about what you did and be able to explain yourself. That makes sense. But then also realizing that always thought that I was a really independent person. And then when I went on Big Brother, I realized that I wasn't independent. I just had people in my life that made me feel independent.
What made you realize that you weren't independent? Because that's a pretty big self-awareness shift to be like, oh, I'm this independent person, and then you're like, wait a second, no, I'm not. That's like most people, if they realize it, they may deny that, as opposed to you, you're like,
no,
hey,
I was pretty lonely the first week.
Okay, we don't have to get into details if you want.
But the whole time I was going through casting, I was telling them about how I was so independent and how I live by myself. I'm financially independent, all these things. And then I come in the first week and, I guess they were probably laughing at me because they're like, oh, like, let's see how Miss Independent is when she has no alliance and no friends, and people saying that, that they can't align with her because it's bad for their game. And it was crushing. But, yeah. I realized that I was relying on other people to make me feel independent, which is great to have those people in my life, but I also have to like have that inner independence too.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I think to me, one of the toughest but most important traits in life is self-awareness. Like if you're able to identify like, hey, look, here's an area of weakness, then at least you got a shot to fix it, or at least if you want to fix it, and maybe you don't want to fix it, but that's cool that you're able to take that away.
There's a lot of things that, especially, and then of course these days, I can't remember when Twitter started, but I don't know if you had, did y'all have any blogs that were like transcribing literally the live feeds every day when y'all were in the house?
It was always pretty intense, like just varying degrees. I think in 2008, like Twitter was just coming out, and the second time I was on, Instagram was just coming out. So it wasn't, I do know like it's not as turned up like it is now on Twitter. Like I had it easy compared to what people go through now,
Yeah. Well, I feel like I didn't really say anything horrible, but whenever you come home and you're faced with something that you said like 2 months ago that like might not have been very, not really a good look, it's kind of a little humbling. So,
Yeah, but at the same time, like there's things you can say and you're like, oh, okay, that was kind of mean. And there's things you can say like, it doesn't matter what scenario you're in, it's not the right thing to say. And I think like for the most part, even, my biggest thing that I've grown from, at least on social media, especially in Big Brother, is like super, like I take judgment out of it now. Like people like they react different ways, and some people, it's a lot to handle, and you never know what someone's going through. So I always just try like, and I think the first season I came on, I was like just lobbing shots at people, like in season 15, and I think it was more so like an ego thing than it was like getting a little more mature. And it's like you can help, like I have an opportunity to help people as opposed, or like maybe divert a conversation to piling on one of the house guests and maybe help them, as opposed to like fueling that fire. So that kind of like, I can't talk about self-realization. That's one of the things I realized about myself that I'm very conscious of now, where like even if I'm thinking like, oh, that wasn't a great game move, why don't I just accentuate someone else's game move that I liked, as opposed to like bashing someone, just because there's enough of that out there, and I don't want to lead that charge against someone.
Not a lot of former house guests do that.
No,
but that's something that I want to do too next season when I'm watching. I don't want to, because I know how it feels to say negative things, and then, or someone say negative things and you get out and you're like, oh, I hope that person likes me, and then they're like, she sucks.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
But one of the things too, and this, I'll give you unsolicited advice, and I think that, and this is to you and every other Big Brother house guest, after your season, like when the next season comes on, I think the best way you can garner appreciation and give value to the fans is talk about the season going on. Like whenever the next season is, like you give your insight on what's going on now, as opposed to like, hey, week 7 in my season, the ball fell this way. No one cares, but like people care about your expertise and what you think about this season. And I think that's a great way, and for former house guests to stay involved in a, like, I don't know. That's just my best advice to people.
No, I agree with that. I think now people love talking about it's so surprising how many questions I get about Big Brother gameplay, but I also think that people are excited about the upcoming season, but also there's an unknown that people don't know, is there going to be another season? So, which I'm sure you know just as much as me, which is nothing, because they know that we're thirsty for answers. But so I think that this kind of does give a little bit of a live feedy kind of whatever.
Yeah,
But
well, that's one of the reasons it's like, okay, right now, what are people's options of things to watch? Like, I love sports, but I don't want to watch an NBA basketball game from 10 years ago. So, like, you're providing value to people, like, who love Big Brother or who enjoy you, like, and it's cool. That's why I did it. It's like,
they could be watching The Bachelor, Listen to Your Heart tonight. I think that's what's on.
I have no idea what that is, but I'll take your word for it.
It's like a Bachelor, like, singing show, I think. I don't know, but
I would much rather watch 90 Day Fiance. That's kind of my like guilty pleasure if you don't watch it.
I need to check that out. I never watch TV, so
okay.
But I'll check it out. Okay, but I do have a question. How many times have you talked about Dan's funeral since you left?
I'm happy to talk about it again. I really am. What do you got for me?
So I hope that these are Dan's funeral with the twist.
Okay.
So Allie Tompkins, she asked, what would you say is the next most daring / impressive gameplay since Dan's funeral? From
someone else?
Yeah, like from all the seasons since.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of. I don't know. The only thing that I can't think of any moves. I can't think of any moves, but I will say this. I will say this. What comes to mind is I really remember enjoying how Tyler played the game because he played really hard but wasn't like malicious. And I remember watching him, and this is, I was happy to see Casey win too, just so, seems like a very likable person. But I remember when Tyler lost, I'm like, okay, this is fundamentally from this point forward, if he can't win playing that kind of game, like a very likable dude, I think the seasons of playing a very cutthroat game, even while not being a jerk, I think it's over in terms of that being a winning game. Because I just think you've seen it, like he did it in a really like way where you're like, you didn't hate the guy, he wasn't mean to people and he still didn't win. So it's like, I just think that to me, that was a point where it's like, okay, it's been a couple seasons and yet that game still won't win. So I think that was, to me, is like watching him play. And then whether or not, I think the other thing that's pretty impressive, anytime someone gets to the end, like I think of someone like Paul, he got to the end twice. That's so hard. That is so hard to do. And then like the devastation of like the exact same thing happening. Like as a competitor, you're like, he did everything he could to get there. And as a person, you're like, you can see the devastation. Those were like two things that stuck out in my head of like people that really put it all out there and that's memorable.
So everyone always talks, especially on Reddit, of the old, the old Big Brother versus kind of the new Big Brother.
Yeah.
We can probably both agree on this. Who do you think is someone from like the new Big Brother age that would have thrived in the older years of Big Brother?
That's a good question. Here's my take on it, and this is like, I don't want to give you a standard answer, but I look at Big Brother like the NBA. You have the Wilt Chamberlain era.
Yeah.
You have the Michael Jordan era, which is, there's a documentary going on, and then you have the LeBron era. You can take someone from the LeBron area and put them in the middle one, they're going to get beat up. I don't know. It's just different. It's really, and I think the thing is that's different is there's so many changing variables, personalities, people, awareness of the game, how they react to things, the competitions. It's really hard to compare apples to apples. So what I just go off of results. And, based on results, that's, like you're talking new era. You're talking, so who won last season?
We don't know. Nicole.
No. Who won last season? No, who won last season? I'm not joking. Okay, Jackson. Then who won before that? Casey. Then who won? Then Josh.
Yes.
And then who won 18?
The other Nicole.
Okay, Nicole.
Yeah.
17 was Steve.
I hate that you're quizzing me on this because I'm really showing my recruit cards.
Steve and then Derek. So I think out of those, you take Derek clearly, and then see how he does. I think what I'd love to see him play again, just to see if his game still translates, if he can adapt, if he has a whole new set of I don't know. I don't know what he would do, and I think a lot of people would like to see that, and I would like to see that.
Yeah. I know you already brought up Tyler, but I think Tyler would do really well in like the older Big Brother. But I don't know if that's me as a recruit speaking because it's on like recent years. I don't know.
No, I was a big fan of Tyler. I'll always root for someone that plays really hard and doesn't like drive the stake in terms of like making fun of people and stuff like that. To me, that's like, it's hard to watch sometimes because I don't know. It's not hard to watch, but like you just root for someone that can like make a move and doesn't like say, "Oh, you're ugly" or whatever.
It's also really hard when you're in the game to separate game from personal. Because our season, there was a lot of people that they would say the most personal stuff, but then they would turn around and be like, it's game, it's not personal. And you're like, wait, you just called me ugly. Like, that's so personal. Yeah. I mean, not really. That's a bad example, but it is hard when you're in the house and that's all you know. It is hard to separate it.
See, and like when you say that, like as a player, like Dan the player, like when you said that, I get fired up. Like as a fan, I don't like to watch it, but as a player, I love it because that's one less situation I have to worry about. If someone's calling you ugly, well, guess who you're going after? You're going after them. Who do I think they're going after? You. Who are they not going after? Me.
You.
So like, yeah. So like as a player, I love that, but sometimes it can get hard to watch.
I love that. So at Jenny Lee Ellen Craig asked this great question. Is there any Big Brother player who you would be intimidated to play against?
No, zero.
Wow.
None.
And that's why you are the GOAT. Wow.
No, I mean, like, I'll tell you this. When I walked in for the first time, I'm like, I'm in over my head. What am I doing? Like, here's all these, like, huge personalities. Like, I was like, I don't know if I ever said, I was completely like, man, like, I'll be lucky to last week one. The first time walking in. And then, your confidence kind of grows, and but I will say the first time I walked in was not how I am now. It's but in terms of, no, man, like, come on.
Do you think you played a better game? Not what people think your game was, but like personally, do you think you played a better game your first time or your second time?
I think I played much better the second time. In different circumstances, I just had to work so much harder the second time. Both times were a lot of work. The second time, I'm fighting for my life every week. And the first one, I'm like, half the game I'm chilling. Like people are fighting. It's like, and I really only had to turn it on the second half of the second season, man. It was a lot. I mean, it was like every minute, like you couldn't rest.
Because people knew your cards.
So I couldn't do the exact same thing because it wouldn't work. People already knew.
Yeah, crazy. So another question, and I kind of hope that you answer this like you did the other one.
Yeah.
May SC7 asked, who do you consider to be the best Big Brother player of all time?
For me, I always grew up, as a young kid, I idolized Will, 100%. Like, I mean, I'm like 14, 15, he's 33 or whatever. There's a huge age gap. But like, as a kid, I'm like, man, this dude, he's not strong. He's not super athletic. But he won a game by being smart and being able to connect with people. And as a kid, that really impacted me, I say high school. And it just taught me a lot. And so when I played the first time, I really studied him and really just appreciated. The one thing I took from Will's game is that you never saw him blow up. And that wasn't necessarily in my repertoire as a human, like in terms of not like getting into arguments. But like I learned that from him, and I'm like, I watched his season over, both of them. Like my man never got into a fight once, even when people were screaming in his face. And that's something that I had to learn how to do, but I just knew it was really important. So to me, he's always like, I modeled a lot of my game after him, and it's think we're very different in like how we are and how we played, but I just give so much credit to him because he did it in a way. He showed me and inspire me to get on a show that you could win by not being like jacked or athletic, but just being able to be socially aware.
So that's interesting because when I was playing this season, and one of the reasons why I voted the way that I did was because I think that Big Brother is a lot more than a competition. I think that there is a lot of social aspect. So if you had two players in the final two, one of them had won a beastly amount of comps, but the other one had, and I'm not saying that this is what happened with me, but scenario. So a beastly amount of comps winner on one side, but then one that maybe didn't win very many comps, but their social game was impeccable, which one
Yeah.
would you vote for?
I don't know. I've never been on the jury. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
joking. I mean,
that
no,
makes
with
one of
all
us.
things aside, no, I'm just totally joking. Did you make the jury on your season?
I was the second in jury. So
Okay.
we are not the same.
What did you base your vote on?
I didn't base it on comp wins. I thought that Holly played an incredible social game. She had only been nominated once, and that was because she was the only choice. Because it was at final, it had gotten down to where when someone used a veto on one person, she was the only nominee that could go up. So I think that that's always super impressive. So that was a huge part, and also I just kind of knew because I had worked with her the social game behind her gameplay. So that's why I voted the way I did. But
yeah, to me, it's like if the person all they did was win comps, I'm with you. It's like to me that's not Big Brother. It's an element, but like I think the game's designed so you can't just win comps and get to the end. There's got to be something else, So I don't know. I would
it
always
does take some social game to get to the end, even if you are a comp beast.
Yeah, But I think I don't know. It's really hard, but I know I could tell you this for a fact. I knew if I would ever get voted out, immediately I would leave any emotion at the door in terms of like instead of being mad at someone that backstabbed me, I'd be like, man, if you got me, you got my vote. How could you not? Like that's how I would feel about it.
That's a good way to think too, and I don't know if a lot of juries think that way. I don't think that our season was very. I don't think that our jury was bitter at all, but yeah.
What was the vote? Did he sweep his girlfriend?
He didn't sweep. I can't remember what the numbers were, but Holly, I think she got 3 or 4 votes. I can't remember.
Okay, so she was in it.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, it wasn't.
Okay.
I think you were the only unanimous weren't you the only your first season, or well, I guess your winning season, huh? You were the only unanimous jury to it, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. You say you think so. I feel like the comments are. Oh wait, they said. Oh, everyone's saying. Oh, so it was 6-3 with Nikki and Holly. Okay, yeah. So XOSFC says that you were the only person to get a perfect game, which is crazy. Dang.
Yeah, I mean, I remember. I mean, I don't want to go talk about like. I just remember thinking like, all right, it's gonna go 4-3 either way. Like even at the end of that season, like I didn't know I was gonna win.
So, did you shock yourself with? I don't mean this offensively, but I think that it does take some manipulation to win the game of Big Brother.
100%.
Did you realize that you had that much manipulation in you, or did you kind of shock yourself with some of the game moves that talking to different people and having to really convince them that you're playing their game? I guess.
Well, I think that's the magic of TV. A little bit is the magic of TV, but for the most part. How it works is that like I just develop relationships with everyone. So like I'm not coming to you day 50 and saying, hey, I need this. I've been talking to you for 50 days. So I'm like, hey, Kat, like we've been working together, or I have your interest in mind, or like this is a move I think will help you get to the end and me. But you're actually going to listen to me because I didn't shun you. Yeah, because I didn't shun you for 40 days. So that takes a lot of work. So like sometimes like to get in the door, to even have a shot to influence or manipulate someone, you got to have a relationship. And I think what you see is a lot of people, like they'll go like this and then that's it. And then their game's done. So I always like someone that wants to play now, just keep your relationships open. Even if you got to like swallow your pride or apologize, whatever you have to do, you can keep, like, you always got a shot. And I think that was for me. And it's not easy. It's not like someone's coming at you, they're in your face, and then you got to be able to like eat it. It's not an easy thing to do. But to me, like, I'm not like super jacked or like I'm okay athletically, but I had to have something else to, to win.
Have you ever read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People?
Yeah.
Is that how you came up with your gameplay?
That's a lot of it. I mean, like, I never knew, like, I read that and my mind was blown. It's like, even now, most people will talk about themselves so much. And if you just keep asking them questions, they're like, wow, this person's really interested in me. And I don't know, it's a really it's a time-tested book, and it's very true. And it's extremely, if there's anyone who wants to get on Big Brother and like wants to do well in the game or in any reality TV game, read that book. It's incredible.
I agree. That's kind of the gameplay that I tried to adopt when I was in the house, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm not.
What went wrong for you? Like, why did it? What went wrong for you? Did you pick the wrong side?
It went wrong on day one.
Okay.
No, but I I guess going through casting, I didn't really know myself enough. I truly thought I was going to walk in and be the Tyler of the season. And I was going to join an alliance, and I was going to be manipulative enough that I could convince other people to call shots, and it just didn't work out that way. I was playing a floater game for like the entire game.
Did you have relationships with everyone in the house? Some people?
Oh no, with everybody. So that was so when I first realized that, okay, I'm not an alliance, I'm not Tyler, I have to come up with my own gameplay, I really did adapt a lot of the how to win friends and influence people principles that I had learned, because I used to be the director of marketing for Dale Carnegie. So yeah, so I know the book by the back of my hand.
Yeah.
But and
so how did you get voted? If you know that, how did you get voted out?
Because,
that's like half.
I know, because this is
halfway through the game with that.
Because I really focused on forming genuine relationships with everyone in the house. But the one time that went wrong, and I think Tommy's still in here, so he'll vouch for me, was when Tommy wronged me. It is so hard to swallow your pride, and I should have gone maybe above and beyond to reconcile with him after we kind of had a little bit of a headbutt here and there.
What was it a personal thing, or was it like a game thing?
It was gameplay. Me and Tommy, Tommy evicted me, and we're still super good friends. So it was obviously gameplay. But
before that, did he nominate you?
No, it was
Who nominated you?
So I'm an idiot, and I volunteered to be a pawn on Holly's HOH. I know.
That's all, you don't have to say anything. That's it.
Dan,
the conversation's over. It's all good.
I know.
It's all good.
But then Tommy tried to. He was part of the plan that
orchestrated
to flip the vote, but when I was a pawn, when I volunteered to be a pawn, that is not the week I went home.
All right, well that's fair then.
But also, I think that me and Tommy played very similar games as far as like making relationships with everyone in the house. Mm-hmm. So he was kind of onto my shit.
Okay.
But
so why didn't you work with him?
We still don't know, actually. We talk about that often.
Could be a $500,000 relationship right there.
I know. Dan, I know. Trust me, I know. But it's okay. But I'm super happy with how everything worked out.
You don't seem bitter. You seem appreciative of the experience. You seem like, it's hard. Like some people get off and like it's like they're like it takes a while, and it's not easy. It seems like, it could be maybe you turn this Instagram live off and like cry in a pillow. But no. I doubt it, No. I doubt it. Yeah.
When actually the night that I got evicted, I remember the like security guard or whatever, they tell you, they're like, yeah, not a lot of people get a lot of sleep this night because like they're usually up all night crying. And I had like the best night of sleep after that. I felt like I had unfinished business in the house, and I was upset that I got evicted, but I wasn't really, I don't know. I guess I just felt fulfilled, I guess. So
yeah.
But I don't know. You don't understand because you don't know what it's like to be evicted. So.
Hey, how did the interview go with Janelle?
So I think it went good. How did y'all talk? Did she say anything good about me?
No, I didn't talk to her. I clicked on her Instagram live, and that's how I knew you were doing this. Oh, yeah. But I didn't vouch check with her. But she's the best.
No, she's an icon.
She's the best.
I don't know how I managed to get you.
Yo, Tyler's here.
Do what?
Talking about him.
Oh,
all good stuff, man.
Tyler and Angela are coming on tomorrow night, which I don't know how I managed to get them to come on my live either, but this is quarantine's crazy.
Because you're doing something different. You're doing something fun. You're doing something positive,
Oh, thank you.
That's why I'm here. So.
Oh, well, thanks. Yay. Got him. So before we end, we do have a couple more minutes left. So other than, being on Twitch and entertain. Oh, we did? Oh, we started. Well, we did start. But
we started late, so we can go the full hour, so you get your video for YouTube. I'm cool.
We'll just see where it goes. But I do want to know, what are you up to during quarantine, other than Twitch and talking with me, entertaining the minions.
So like my day-to-day life is, so I'm married. We have a 3-year-old son and a 2-year-old son. So a lot of it, like we have a lot of family around. So like raising 2 kids with a lot of family around, it's easy. But when you have to like cut everyone off, you're like, oh man, it's like, it's a lot. So it's just managing that, which is a lot of fun. It's been a blessing because I'm home a lot more, and it's a lot of fun. Like I love being a dad. So that's a lot of my time. And then, that's pretty much it. I run, and then I started, I took piano lessons for about a year. And so like, cause I work all the time. So if I'm like now I've gone back to teaching myself piano a little bit, just as like a exit from working all the time, because I will work all the time if given the opportunity.
Wait, so what do you do for work? Because you're no longer a high school teacher.
Yeah. So I have a business that I run. I don't talk about online, but like running the Twitch production, YouTube. I have two podcasts.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, you know. So like I kind of have like two full-time businesses, but you know, if it feels kind of weird to say it, but during this quarantine, like my broadcasting on Twitch, and it's just been skyrocketing because there's nothing else to watch. So it's like 8 years of hard work. It's like, it's taken off, and it's like, this is what I can tell you, Kat. Like every day I get to do what I love, and like, yeah, and you get paid a disproportionate amount for doing something you love. And I feel very lucky, extremely grateful. It's taken a lot of hard work to get to this point. And one of the things that for me that was always a battle is I'd be on Twitch and be like, oh, hey, let's talk about Big Brother for the whole show. And I'm like I love Big Brother, but that's not the, yeah. Like I'm going to Kat's Instagram Live to do it 8 years from now. We can talk about it then.
That's so funny. So, I mean, Twitch, YouTube, all that, I mean, it's all social media. So you don't hear a lot of what Reddit refers to as, you know, like the golden era of Big Brother. Players make a career over social media, and they dog a lot of the newer contestants for doing that.
Here's my thing. Like, if you come off, and I don't know let's get into it. What were your metrics before? So before you went on Big Brother, how many followers? And it doesn't matter to me, but I just think it's an interesting conversation. Yeah. How many followers did you have on Instagram before you went on Big Brother?
I had like 47,000.
Okay.
I was working as an influencer, but I also was working as at a digital marketing agency.
Okay.
So I had two jobs.
Which is definitely abnormal. Like most people don't go in with that kind of following. And then when you walked out day one, what was your Instagram follower at?
I can't remember. I wasn't quite at 200K. It's grown since.
But around 200K.
But I mean, it definitely boosted it.
So here's the thing. Like I'm just gonna be like, you didn't win Big Brother. The compensation for Big Brother is what you make of it, whatever. Mm-hmm. But so like, if people are gonna pay you for your experience on Big Brother and you can promote something, like do it. You know, like, and some people either double down and squeeze the heck out of it for 6 months.
Yeah.
Or
and
some people.
Like me.
Yeah. And some people can find a way to like, hey, maybe I can extend this and do it in a, you know, in a long-term way. And to me, it's an opportunity, and it's what you make of it. I used to be very different about that. And it's like, hey, you know, people want to parlay their experience on Big Brother. And I'd be like, oh, just go back to normal life. But if that's what you want, do it. You know, and it's a great jump off point. So to me, my thing is that I'm never going to judge or care what someone does. But my advice is, if you want to take care of, you can use this long term, do it in two ways. One, if you talk about Big Brother, what we talked about, talk about the current season, give people value, which is your insight. And two, start something that you love to do, right? So like, you know, whatever it is, if you're passionate about it, people that watch you from Big Brother that like you may have the same passion. Then you just kind of get it snowballing from there. So I think it's a tremendous opportunity. It's a tremendous head start. And if you don't, I don't say that because it's judgy, but if you don't take advantage of it, it's kind of a waste, you know, unless if you want to take advantage of it. Some people want to go on, they want to play the game and get off, and that's cool too, you know?
Yeah. So I guess when you went on, because again, it was a much different time, what were your goals going in? Was it truly just to play the game, or did you kind of, I mean, I don't know, were you kind of excited about the TV too? Because what people, they hate on people that go on for just TV, but it's almost like they forget that like that's a huge component, and it does take a certain kind of person to want to go on TV.
Yeah. I think for me, like, it was just a dream to be able to play. And then when I was there, I'm like, okay, now that I'm here and I'm learning, like, put on a good show, right? And it's such a fine line to walk to, like, try to put on a good show and make for fun moments without blowing up your game. I just appreciated being there, and I love playing the game, so I wanted to make sure people knew that. And I think by, like, how hard you play and the fact that, like, I never was on there talking about, hey, I hope my Instagram follower go up. And if you do, that's cool too. But to me, that wasn't my thing. Is like, I love the experience. I love the game. And there's a lot of people that would kill to be here. So let me make the most of it, whether I'm losing, whether, you know, the chips are down, because I think people love to root for an underdog too, you know, and or a self-aware like champion. Like people, Janelle's not an underdog. She's a badass, but she's also very real. She doesn't like, she has moments of like, wow, you know, you can relate to her. There's moments where she's really funny, or there's moments when, you know, hey, give me that key. Like I just think the more real someone can be, the better they're going to enjoy the experience. And it's tough because the more realness you let out, the more you open yourself up to getting either, you know, criticism or, you know, praise. So it's such a weird experience, and you kind of only know until you go through it. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that have gone on before you. And so like, I would, you know, look at what they say and try to build on that.
So because I've always wondered this, is when you go on for your first season, that is a once in a lifetime experience, because no one knows who you are. No one knows what you're capable of. And you also don't really know, you know that there's live feeds, and you know that you're going to have an audience, but you don't realize what the reaction is going to be like. But then, was it hard going back for your second season? And did you feel like you had an image to uphold? And how did that kind of play on you mentally?
Yeah, I think the first time I played, like when I got out, I'm like I didn't think that people would like me. I'm like, oh yeah, here's this young kid that won, and he was a teacher, so I'm happy for him. But I never like, it was a little bit like surprising. And the second time when I went in, I was just like, when you get the call, like, and I'm from Michigan, and like when I see an 818 number on my phone, the second time I'm like, I know who that is. Yeah, and like your heart starts pumping, and you're like, I know what this is. This is happening. And then it's like Rich and Allison, you're like, holy cow. Like, and it was just like, well, the first time I played, there was like an innate desire. I'm like, you got to do it again. Like, I loved it. And so to get that call, like, I didn't really care about like legacy. I'm like, to play again, are you kidding me? It's like getting struck by lightning twice. And I loved it. And I'm trying to put myself back in that spot. I just remember being really excited, and that was it. Like, I just like, let's go have fun, let it rip, and see what happens.
Dang. So what is your favorite memory? Whether it was something that made the show, or maybe even something that people don't even talk about. But whenever you think back on your Big Brother experience, that is your favorite memory that brings you the most happiness.
I think it's just a lot of the times, I think just spending a lot of time with people, and it's weird, but like, and kind of enjoying their presence. Like, I just remember like a couple occasions, like just sitting around with like talking with Brittany, Mike, and Janelle, and I'm like, man, like as a kid who loved Big Brother, like I can remember almost like an out of body experience. Like I'm sitting here with two legends in Mike, Boogie, and Janelle, and I'm like, I'm here. And then I didn't really know Brittany that much, and then I'm like, I get why she's here. She's like a badass. She's so funny. And I think just kind of those moments when you're like, man, am I really on a TV show right now? Is this really happening? Because it happens so fast. So I always try to just take in the moments. Like the first time the voting ceremony is, the first time you go in the DR, you're like, this isn't a dream, it's real. And so I think those are the moments. But in terms of, it was always like the day-to-day stuff that I really enjoyed, whether it was like messing around in the pool, just stuff like as an adult, you really, I mean, I do as much as I can, but I think probably what stands out the most is that like just being around, I don't know, I can just tell you, sitting with Janelle, Mike, Boogie, and Brittany one time, I'm like, is this real? Like, tell 15-year-old Dan this is going to happen. He's not going to believe it, you know?
That's so fun.
So.
Dang. So that reminded me of another good question, because I don't know if you're like me, but whenever I didn't have my phone in the house, it was so cleansing and like purifying, and I feel like my mind just went to places that it never does, because I can Google, instead of wondering about things, I Google it quickly. Would you rather be quarantined without a phone, like you were in Big Brother, or quarantined with a phone, like you are now?
I would rather, you're just talking about quarantine, not Big Brother?
Yeah, just like whether, say, quarantine happened.
Yeah.
Would you rather have your technology and you're going to get paid your weekly stipend no matter what? So don't be like, oh, I need my phone for work. Just either being quarantined.
You're talking about like in Big Brother or in real life?
We'll just say in real life,
Okay.
just for the heck of it.
Um, I think here's what I do now. Like I'll take moments of like, cause I'm always on my phone, but I've been very conscious of like, there's moments when I'm like, okay, hey, like when I walk in from my office and studio, I'll put my phone away and it's just like, I'm present. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I try not to like, and there's moments I'll take my two sons and we'll go out into like this wooded area and just be like, no phone, just be like, it's cool. So
Dang,
like,
I need to do that.
it's not easy to do
No,
because
I don't
everything
think I physically could.
yeah, but everything you want's in your is in the palm of your hands, and so it's I don't know. I guess not a concern, but something I'm always conscious about is that like life happens so fast. Like you know, we're talking about Big Brother that happened in 2012. That was 8 years ago. Like that
Mhm.
doesn't feel like 8 years ago, but it was. And you'll be here 5 years from now when you're playing for your second time. You're like, man, I don't even remember the first time I played. You know.
Oh, thank you. That's sweet. So a lot of comments are talking about the Dan and considering I believe you just misted me. But okay, so a lot of comments are talking about Dan's mist. Explain what that is.
So Brittany, I gotta give credit to Brittany. Brittany is the one that made the whole thing up. But I think what it means, from my understanding, is that I'll be talking to you, and you you won't necessarily realize what's happening or that you're agreeing to something,
Mm-hmm.
and then until someone's like, "What did you just do?" It's like I don't know. I think that's what it is. But to me, it's being like super present and being able to push the buttons on the people when you need to
Mm-hmm.
push them. And the only way you know that is by spending hours upon hours upon hours talking to someone, but not just talking, like really listening. You know, like
Yeah.
I was blown away that you were marketing director for Dale Carnegie. Like, I've done. I didn't tell you this, but I got this random DM like a couple months ago. It's like, hey Dan, will you join my Facebook Big Brother group? It would mean a
Uh,
lot to me. I'm like, sure, I'll do it. And what it is, and like they're like, just pop in and say hi and then leave. And I popped in and then I never left. And what
mm-hmm.
it is, it's like real life updates from people on Big Brother. So it'd be like so and so posted this picture.
Oh
This is going on.
wow.
And
Oh
so
wow, I kind of want to join that group.
yeah, and so but it's like I don't say anything, but I'm like I never left it. But it's like, hey, here's Kat in Us Weekly. And
Oh,
I'm
they talk
like,
about me?
it's ever like if
I have
anyone
to come
posts
alert for this.
anything, so it's like I kind of like stay in the loop through that. So like I know some stuff about you just through
Oh,
like, but I'm like perceptive about
yeah,
that stuff.
dang. Dan, I have to tell you
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
If Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People was a person, it'd be you.
No, 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 no.
Yes, but I
But
mean
can't
that. But I think that, like, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I think that
no.
that is like I aspire to be that there because it's. I mean, it's more than just like Big Brother gameplay. It's how you're gonna be successful in everything you do.
Well, I don't want to disappoint you, but like when we turn this off, like I'm super like not social. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
very like there's a party, I'm like I would prefer not to go. Like I'm super chill. Like you honestly, I don't mean this in a like mean we'll probably never meet because
What
I
the
don't
heck,
go
Dan?
I know, but
What the
I
heck?
don't like going to I just don't like that's
No,
not
I
it.
get
Like
that.
I'm very reserved. I'm
Yeah.
not like the life of the party. But I guess I can just turn it on when I need to. So I have to be
Yeah.
like super motivated to turn it on, like
Well,
either by
I love
half a
that.
million or yeah.
Well, I think it's a great
So
quality. I
well,
did
thanks.
see. I saw a really good question in the comments. I
Yeah.
think it was Connor something, and I apologize for not remembering the whole name. But they wanted to know what's your favorite season of Big Brother besides your
Mm.
own.
Well, anyone that knows me knows I wouldn't say my own anyways. But I really like to me 7 was really good. I really liked 11. I don't know why. I feel like 11 is one of the only seasons. That's when Jordan wins.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert. Where like you watch the
I
season,
think people know that.
you're like, man, you feel good about the person that won. Like she's like so sweet and
uh-huh.
kind and like, yeah, it's like, hey, the good stuff could come from this game. I think that was cool. Um, I think that was probably those are like 2, 7, 11 were my favorites. But the other thing too is like now I wish I had more time to watch. Like I'll watch like sporadically,
Mm-hmm.
like last season I watched a little bit. I thought you were funny.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
yeah, but I try to keep up. I keep up with the show now through Twitter.
Yeah.
You know,
So you're
but
not
I'll
a
tell you
live.
what.
You're not a live feeder.
I'll tell you this. During the I was all in on season 2 and season 7. I was like I'm in, like, because it was just, there's so many compelling characters.
Yeah.
What I'm into now, and I'm like you, I don't watch a ton of TV. I'm obsessed with Survivor. I watch Survivor. Do you watch Survivor or no?
I don't watch TV.
You like, do you not have a
No,
TV?
I don't know. I'm weird. I spend
No,
so much
that's
time
all.
on social media that I can't afford to get invested in a TV show. So
And like, what do you do? So in place of TV, what do
social
you do?
media,
But like, what does that mean for you?
well,
Like,
hopefully I'm working on social media, but but every so often, like I'm, scrolling mindlessly through Instagram, TikTok, or I don't know. I love to work. I feel like I work all the time. And
when you say like you're creating content, like when you're
either creating
like,
content or engaging or planning for my next whatever. I mean,
what does you creating content look like? Because it looks different for everyone.
well,
Like,
whenever we're not under quarantine,
Yeah.
I have a photographer that I work with full time, and we'll come over. And before quarantine happened, we were probably working together at least 3 to 4 times a week, either sending out emails to brands, trying to get sponsorships for our next shoot. We're planning on starting a whole new travel division of our social media.
So how does that work? So like you'll be like, hey, like sponsor this photo shoot.
It's a little so yes, but it's not.
No, don't tell me. Like I want to know.
But for instance, we were trying to think of how we could take influencing or whatever and turn it into more of a social media marketing agency of sorts. So that's something that is my 5-year goal. Is I don't always want to be an influencer. I want to have my own marketing agency.
Like, where you help influencers?
Yeah, I'm using myself as a case study to kind of be able to do different things, whether it's like growth tactics or campaigns or even it's like content development, and be able to teach other people how to do that, and then also have businesses be able to come to me and I can kind of give them like an influencer perspective of what to expect and what they would be getting out of in influencer marketing, because sometimes it's a very new industry. So, but me and Alex, my photographer, we were thinking of how to kind of work on, not only influencer marketing, but also have brands, sponsor the photo shoot, if you will, but it'd be a whole campaign. That would be, we have the right people that are repping the brand. We have the right location that really showcases the brand and all that kind of stuff. So, but that got stalled because of quarantine. So
let me ask you this. As an influencer for you, what do you think your brand is, or what's the image you portray, or what's the image that you hope to portray or want to portray as your brand?
I mean, I'm kind of trying to still nail that down, which I'm embarrassed to say, because I do feel like as someone who works on it full time. It
takes so long. No.
It does, and it's always changing, and I don't just want to be fashion. I don't just want to be beauty. I do hope that I bring positivity to everybody. I think that I have kind of like maybe like a party type lifestyle, but it's not partying as in like going crazy. It's as in, being social and showcasing different events, different vacation spots, and with like a little bit of beauty and fashion in it, but still trying to nail down like the exact thing.
Let me ask you this, though. Maybe this will help you nail it down. What do you love to do?
As weird as it sounds, I love creating content, and I love connecting with my audience and being able to create things. Like, it's an art for me. So being able to create things and stuff that people like.
Create things around fashion, around your life? Like, you like
Not
sharing your life? Not
necessarily around fashion, just around like the different trends and the different lifestyle. I guess lifestyle, for lack of a better word. But
and for you, what does lifestyle mean? Like, what part of your lifestyle do you like to share or talk about a lot?
I really love events and traveling right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, I will say that the quarantine really took a toll on making everything stall out a little bit, because there's no events going on and there's no traveling happening, and there's and even companies have had to have had to go back on their budget, so they're not interested in advertising through social media. Well, some of them are, but they have smaller budgets, so it's definitely a challenge. But
let me ask you this: a lot of people have ideas, right? When did what you're doing now, the quarantine live, what pushed you from idea to actually doing it? When did you like, all right, I'm doing this no matter what? When did that happen?
It was only like a day, really, and it was going to be super, super casual at first. And I also didn't realize that we were going to be quarantined as long as we have been. So no, I had a random idea, and I had texted Nick as the first person, because I was like, I know he'll do it. So I was like, every night of quarantine, I want to interview a different person, maybe get like a 2-week lineup. And then now here we are, over a month in. But I'm interviewing like legends like you, which is absolutely crazy.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. Have you thought about like continuing it after quarantine and like doing IG live and then having the audio ripped and turning it into a podcast? And like, have you done all that?
I've been thinking about podcasts. I don't know how the audio would be if I extracted it from the recording, but I am screen recording. It's kind of a little bit of a janky process.
No.
I am screen recording all the interviews and then putting them up on my YouTube channel. So that's...
Can you send me a link to the file so I can send it to my audio guy? Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna rip the audio from this and then I'm gonna put it on my podcast and feature.
I'm honored.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Let me figure out how to extract audio first.
No, just send me a link to the video file.
Okay, cool. Yeah, perfect.
Because that'll help my audio.
Wow, Dan, so much missed.
No, it's not. It's not.
No,
Missed.
but I love it. No, people say missed, but I genuinely think it's you being a good person, because if you didn't genuinely care about what people have to say, you wouldn't be engaged for an hour. You know, it's not missed. It's you genuinely caring. Or maybe that's you misting me and I think you genuinely care.
No, not at all. Like for you, I'm gonna be honest, it's hard to get me on something like this. But
I heard, everyone told me that. And I was like, I don't know how I lucked out.
But you got me in because of what you're doing, the timing, and like it's not like a bash fest, right? It's like something positive. The other thing too, like talking to you for the first time, it's like, okay, hey, look, you're driven and you're like, hey, this is what I want to do. And sometimes like I feel having been on the show twice and whatever, like I feel like sometimes there's people I can help and be like, hey, like when I got off, there were people that helped me and I really appreciate that. And if I can do that for someone else, whether it's like, hey, Kat, like, hey, should I do this into a podcast? You know, whatever I can do to help you, I will. Just, you know.
I love that. Wow, Dan.
Yeah.
Man, if we ever go back to Big Brother, we'll be a final two.
Yeah, we can, but I'm never going back. I'll tell you that.
Okay, so would you ever do Survivor?
If before this season, I would say no. It's weird. I'm going to tell you it's weird. Like, I don't know if I want to say this, but I feel like a fire kind of like the fire to get on Big Brother was like rage. Like for me, it was like, you got to do this. Like ever since I was like 50, like whatever it takes. There's a fire starting.
Wow.
I don't know where it is, but I'm like, I don't know. It's maybe I'm just like, I'm locked up and I'm competitive. I'm like, oh, I could do this. And like a week from now, like, I just chill, Dan. Like your time's over, like right off into the sunset.
You're young though. I feel like you could do that.
I act young. How old? Well, it's not.
I know how old you are. I researched you.
I was gonna ask how old you are, but that's not polite to ask.
Yeah.
24. 25.
Really? Oh,
25.
Dan, you are missing me so hard.
I'm not.
No, Dan, I'm 30.
Okay, I really, my initial thought was 25. I'm like, okay, let me just put a little on it. And say
well, thank you. No, I'm 30.
Really? Oh, that's so young.
We'll go with 24, 25.
Okay.
Okay, so last question, because I thought this was a really good one. At Hillary with one eye asked, who would you prefer to be stranded with on an island from your season? So if you are on Survivor, but there's two contestants, you and one other person, who would it be?
From season 14. Oof. That's a hard one. I don't know. I'm trying to think who's the most. I mean, I can tell you the most entertaining is.
Well, it depends. Do you want to be stranded with someone that could start a fire and cook you food, or someone that's going to entertain you the whole time, or someone
entertain?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. Who would it be for you? That'll give me time to think while you're answering.
From my season?
Yeah.
I'll give the people what they want in this answer, and probably Nick.
No. Don't Don't Us Weekly me. Just give me the answer.
No, it is true. I mean, it would definitely be Nick, because of course, like me and him have spent so much time together. You know, not only more so than during the season, but during the time in jury and afterwards. So I know we wouldn't annoy each other. I know we'd get along, and of course I enjoy his company. So I'll go with him.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but that's one of the things that went by on my Facebook feed. It was like an Us Weekly thing. I'm like,
oh yeah.
I wasn't going to bring it up, so I didn't bring it up. Okay. I wasn't going to bring it up.
I'm an open book. But I'm sure people, the Kat and Nick fans will be happy to know that if I had to choose one person to be stranded with on a desert island, it would be Nick.
And just so you know, like that's how I get out of answering questions I don't want to answer in
You
Big
asked
Brother.
the question back.
No, just immediately like, bam, well, what do you think? I don't know.
That is so
I don't
Dale
know.
Carnegie of you. Wow. That is. But well, anyways, well, thank you for coming on. It was such an honor and
my pleasure.
Honor.
Thank you for doing this. I think it's really needed. I think the timing's amazing. I think you put on a good show. I think it's positive. And I think, anytime someone veers that way, because it's easy to go like drama and it's easy to go like, it's harder to go this way. But I think a lot of people resonate with it. And I'll tell you, that's what got me here. So
thank you, Dan. Wow.
Thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed it. And anything I can ever do for you, don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay. I'm sure I'll take you up on that. I'm kidding.
Please do. And anyone that's watching, thank you guys for being here. I saw everyone. Erica said hello. Thank you guys. I like just saying hello to everyone real quick. No, Cray, she did not get missed. That was real. See ya, Sugar Plum. You talk to people. Can we do some quick talking?
I'm so bad at reading the comments while I interview. So that's why I have people sending comments or questions ahead of time just so so you get good questions, of course, what they want to hear, but I am bad at reading the comments.
I'm going to hijack your live stream for 3 really quick rapid fire questions. Awesome. So we're going to do 3 quick rapid fire questions for both Kat and I. We're going to answer the first 3 we see, and I'm going to take over the interview. So I'm going to interview you.
Wow.
Caitlin, what's going on? Hope all's well. Kate Edge 97. Emma. All right. Kat, who do you think is going to win Survivor?
I don't know. I don't watch Survivor.
She says Boston Rob's going to come back. I think Kim is going to win. That's my guess. Kat, would you ever do a meet and greet?
Oh, yeah. Well, meet and greets are a lot harder to set up than people think. That's why I haven't done one
Have you tried to do one?
Well, I did one in Canada.
Oh, you did?
But I haven't done any in Dallas. There were some in the works, but then quarantine happened. So, but they're harder than you think to set up.
Yeah. But you're in event. Well, you've done stuff in events.
Mm-hmm.
Baby Yoda wants to know: do you think a 7-person or 9 jury is better, Kat?
Oh, I'm gonna say 9 because if it was a 7-person jury, I wouldn't have made it to jury. So we're gonna go with 9.
Kat, would you ever do the challenge? That's that MTV thing, right?
I would, but of course, being under contract with CBS for 2 years, I hope I'm not like jinxing myself by saying this, but I do hope that I get utilized for another CBS opportunity. But
is that how it works? Are all the people that have gone on, are they beyond 2 years? Is it?
So it's usually a 1-year contract for everybody. So that's why season 20 people are able to go on the challenge right now. But I believe our season was the first season to do a 2-year contract. So I think either MTV can buy us out of our contracts. I don't know if that's right. So don't at me on this. Yeah. But or they have to wait for the 2 years to be over. But I don't know. But fingers crossed. I love being in CBS family. So
yeah, cool. Someone asked real quick, how's Jerry? Jerry's good. He texted me during quarantine. He's good. Whatever, go back on Big Brother. No, but Kat would. Kat, will you do Big Brother again?
Oh, I would go back in a heartbeat. The day that the show wrapped, I didn't even want to go out to the real world. I wanted to go back in the Big Brother house. It was so much fun.
Kat, would you go on Love Island? I don't know what that is. Mary Eliza, what's up? Give me a shot.
I mean, never say never, but I think I would be that person on Love Island, and I hope I'm this savage in real life, but in my head, I would make it to the end, and then you can either choose to take all the money yourself, or you can split it between you and the winner. So I want to make it to the end and then take the money myself.
What if both people take the money themselves?
I think it's like the girl decides or something like that.
Oh.
I don't know. I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
What is someone said, do you watch Sequester Mini?
I did not watch Sequester Mini. It's I wish I knew more about this so I don't sound like an idiot saying this, but it's a former Big Brother contestant. They made like an online show called Sequester, and Tommy was just in this past one, where it's kind of like an accelerated Big Brother, but it's all online.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Austin said, what do I play on Twitch? Twitch.tv/Dan Gheesling. I play a military simulator called Escape from Tarkov, and I play a lot of Dark Souls games. That's live on Twitch, 11 a.m. Eastern every day. I think. All right, last question for Kat. Let's hit her with a hard one.
Oh, not too hard because I don't know. I'm kidding.
Dan, please give just DM me. It's just a Dan Gheesling podcast. It's everywhere. That's not a hard one, but I see you don't watch the Masked Singer because you don't watch TV.
No. I know I
Um,
miss out on all the TV questions because I don't know.
all right, here's one for you. Who are you in the most contact with from Big Brother?
Um, well, of all the
Besides
seasons,
obvious. Besides obvious.
well, yeah, I mean, of course, Nick. From my season, probably Nick, Tommy, Jess, and then from just of all time, me, Elena, and then Jessica Nixon are all pretty close too because we all live in Dallas.
Got it. And then last question, who's your favorite football team?
Oh, the Dallas Cowboys? Duh. There's no other
Really?
football team that exists.
Wow. Okay.
Wait, who do you root for?
I am a fan of the Michigan State Spartans, and I have a friend that coaches. It's wherever he goes. So right now he's with the Gophers, so I'm rooting
Okay.
for the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Oh, nice.
Um, but all right, Kat, thank you so much for having me on,
No, thank you for
and I'm for
thank you for
real.
coming on.
No, for real. Anything I can do to help, don't ever
Yay.
hesitate to reach out. And
Wow.
especially when you get the call to go back on again, like 5 years from now, be like, hey Dan, like I want to win. What do I do? And I'll
Okay,
sit down with you and be
perfect.
like, hey, do this, this.
I'll let them know if they ever reach out. I'll be like, Dan said this would happen. He said, no, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right, I'll see you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Bye, guys.
Bye.